He says here that Arsenal's third bid for Rice is expected to come within the next 24 hours. Arsenal's bid will be around the 100 million mark that West Ham want. He says Man City are still there and could bid even more than Arsenal. That is what's being rumoured through him. And West Ham to reject Arsenal and accept City is a possibility. We know that the preference Rice has is Arsenal, but of course, if City outbid Arsenal and their bid don't get accepted, Rice's preference becomes almost null and void because Rice does want to leave West Ham this summer. And I think every West Ham fan and he's worth his salt knows that that's going to happen. But I want to go to Dan Lawless on this first. You're a West Ham fan. You're seeing this unfold in front of you. There must be a bit of a sort of a bittersweet feeling when this is going on. What's the acceptable amount of money in the West Ham fan base, and where do you think he's going to go, mate?
Yeah, it's mad at this point. Shout out to X. Funny thing is, he just had to put a tweet out because loads of Arsenal accounts been taking it, twisting it to look more positive in their favor and misquoting him massively, which happens. But yeah, it's to me. These next bids have not come in. And the third Arsenal bid, the first Man City bid. If that is true, I've always maintained he'll go to the highest bidder. We want a large portion of the money up front. That's why when Arsenal came with the absolute joke of a bid, oh yeah, we'll pay you 80 million over 6 years. Like we rejected that quick time. So I feel like 100, if we was to get offered 100 million with the majority of it paid up front, that's probably something we can look at and go, do you know what? Yeah, we're happy with that. We can go and invest most of that straight back this season. None of these ridiculous add-ons that Arsenal are putting in. Oh, if we win the Champions League, we'll give you an extra 10 million. You've never won the Champions League in how many years it's been going?
Never.
You want to give us
Never.
Exactly. Ridiculous. Never won it. Here's 10 million if we win it. Like, yeah, all right, I'll give you 10 million if I win the lottery. Like, leave it out. So the deal has to be structured in the right way to hit that 10 million. So as it stands, Arsenal are the only club with bids in. But if Man City come in, how can you tell all this talk about, oh, Rice wants to go? Obviously, there's no smoke without fire with a lot of these things, but a lot of people act like they're in the know. You're not Rice. You're not the club that are dealing with him. You're journos. So, yeah, I think if Man City come in, it's a no-brainer to play under Pep. I know, look, the Arsenal fans are loving me right now. They're absolutely loving me because I've been consistent. Why would you not want to play for the best manager in football? Why would you not play for the best club in the world right now? People saying, oh, Pep's going to leave in 2 years. And they're not going to go and get Steve Bruce, are they, to replace him? Let's be honest. They're going to go get another quality manager after Pep. So, yeah, I can. If Man City bid, they've got the money. They haven't got to splash out loads of money on all different players, right? They only need a few positions. They've got the money to spend. I can see them slapping it down. And now they're looking at Arsenal after last season and go, do you know what? We do not want to allow them to get a player that can elevate them and maybe be more of a threat to us. So not only is it improving us, it's ensuring that they're not strengthening in such a way. So to me, Man City, if they bid, just bloody put the bid in, Man City, please.
Yeah, you really don't want him going to those Gooners.
Yes, oh my God.
Mate, my mentions, you don't understand what I've been having to deal with from these Arsenal fans. So many.
Where's the love? Where's the love, mate? Where's the love? I just need it, because
if he doesn't go, I've got bookmarks. I've got dossiers of bookmarks on Twitter. I've got receipts. I've got clips. Like, oh my God. It is going to be unbelievable. Listen, if he does go to Arsenal and they pay like a ridiculous amount of money, then I'm cool because we've got a good amount of money. None of this Littlewoods catalogue payment plan BS. Like, we've got a good bit of money up front. We can replace him and strengthen the team as a whole. But come on, like, there needs to be a humbling. There needs to be some mudding.
You're about the fans. I'm a neutral. For the good of football, Declan Rice has to go to Arsenal, to be honest. They have to strengthen. We cannot go another year with City winning the league. Arsenal have to strengthen. Come on.
Why, I always say this because Arsenal fans say this all the time. Like, oh, you just want a Bundesliga. Why should I want Arsenal to win the league so we can save the league? Why do I give a shit?
You support the London
Arsenal
club, so yeah, it's you. But for me, I want the most fun time was between 2009 and 2017, 2018 when no club retained the league title. That was so fun. At least I'm not going to next season watching the games knowing that Arsenal are going to be crap and Man City are going to be great. I want to watch a different kind of league.
I know, but you're neutral, so you don't have a dog in the fight.
You have a lot of beef with Arsenal fans, Wallace. You're really like.
Mate, if you had to deal with it, like, listen, there's a lot of Arsenal fans I like. I do stuff with AFTV. I like the outside of football, like a lot of great people. But when it comes to football, so many Arsenal fans just lose their heads, and it's the feeling of they've had one good season. Now they're back. We're back in the big time. It's Invincible era Mark II coming up. Here we go. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like. Approach it with humility. You know, we had that good season. We need to make sure we try and solidify the place, see where we're going to be next season. We've got Champions League football to balance. We don't know how that's going to be. Like,
you're echoing Mikel Antonio when he said the worst fan base in England, the Arsenal fan base.
Yeah, they are.
So many people say it.
It's not someone that hasn't even he literally said the Arsenal fan base. It's the same when we said if we were in the Champions League last year, we would win it. So I'm expecting Arsenal this year at least to reach the semis. If you were back last year, if you were in the Champions League, you don't want to win it. I'm expecting Arsenal, who are strengthening this year, to at least go to the semis now. That makes some sense based on the fan base.
Back your chat, mate. Back it. That's it.
But are we over that rant?
No.
Are we over that rant right now? Because this Declan Rice.
I want to hear from. Hang on. I want to hear from the Gooners now. That was a long-ass rant, and I liked it, Lawless Mel, mate. But go on, Aussie Gooner, speak to me.
Well, think of it this way. The way I look at it right now is Declan Rice has been on Arsenal's radar for a while. We've been checking him out. We've been making approaches. Yes, the deals haven't been in West Ham's favour, but Declan Rice looks at this right now. Now, I know it's like, wouldn't you want to go play for Pep Guardiola? Bloody oath. But when Pep Guardiola does a knee-jerk reaction and says, you know what, maybe I want Rice now, and you have Arsenal have been chasing you for a while, that changes the idea and the dynamic of this deal for Declan Rice, because he's looking at it and thinking, wait a minute, Arsenal are looking at me right now that I am very much a part of their plan. Mikel Arteta has been chasing me, watching me for a while, and they've been chasing me. I'm definitely part of their plan. This is not where I'm going to go to Manchester City and possibly be rotated out of the squad if I don't have a couple of good games. This is a team or a manager that's been looking at me and thinking he's trying to build a team possibly around me. So for Declan Rice, Arsenal is attractive. Manchester City, yes, is attractive, but I think Arsenal is more attractive because in the fact that he will be starting, and it's going to be very hard to knock him out of that position. And the other thing is, this is Arteta who's been looking at him for a while and saying, you know what, I want this guy. But the deal for West Ham is key. We can't go in there with we'll pay you, £2 a friggin' week to get Declan Rice over the line. That's not going to happen. I think Arsenal have been testing the waters when it comes to their transfers. They lowball, they're mucking about, even with the Timber deal, lowballed it, and they're testing the waters. I think the revised bid is going to be serious. Is going to be a serious bid, and I do believe that they're going to have, just like my man said, they're going to have to put a large sum of money up front for Declan Rice. I honestly believe that Declan Rice's best move is to Arsenal, not because I'm an Arsenal fan, but because I think it's the way that Arsenal have approached it. And the way that Arsenal have been looking at him for a while, it's not like last minute. Oh, we need a midfielder. Oh, who do we go for? Oh, we'll go for Declan Rice.
Mate, this is
what I'm saying. There's a lot more behind it.
Last season, no one was talking about Rice to Arsenal. Season before that, no one was talking about Rice to Arsenal.
No, because this season we saw Thomas Partey come unraveled too many times. I was calling for Thomas Partey's head after Liverpool. I was the only Arsenal fan saying Jorginho should be starting right now. Oh, what do you mean? He's a great player. Really? Really? And Granit Xhaka, he's aging. We got the best Xhaka last season. And that was it. You know what I mean? You don't want an aging midfield partnership, especially when Partey's here and here. He's a great midfielder when he's on song, but when he drops off, he drops off. So I think now is about horses for courses, and it's about trying to strengthen the squad. We're not trying to find, this guy could do a job or this guy can do a job. It's like we need a solid midfielder. And let's talk solid midfielders in the Premier League. Let's look at West Ham. Let's just be honest about it. Declan Rice is a solid midfielder, and he's been wonderful West Ham. He has been West Ham's midfield completely. He is the midfield for West Ham. And I think Arsenal now are making moves where it's, unfortunately, the Kai Havertz move I don't agree with, so don't get me there. But Arsenal trying to make moves where it's like, we're not going to try and replace Granit Xhaka with, we're not going to try and replace Partey with Onana from Everton, which is like for like or a little bit lower. We're looking to make improvements so we can compete in the Champions League. So this is why the Rice move came in early and it's continued from Arsenal, in my opinion.
Lawless, right? Just want to say something. Right. John Hartson, Nigel Winterburn, Ian, we helped you out over the years. Okay?
So, yeah, Freddie Lundberg. What about Freddie Lundberg?
Exactly.
Yeah, you got Freddie.
You know, like we've helped you out over the years.
You want Eddie? We'll give you Eddie Nketiah as well. Let's throw Eddie Nketiah into the mix. What do you say, my man?
And El Neni and Holding as well. But like seriously, I came across this thought the other day, and now I can't get it out of my head about this whole Rice deal. You know, Arteta has a relationship with Pep Guardiola, and Arteta is ready to make the moves, but it's not up to him. It's up to Edu to organise all the conversation.
Exactly.
Part of me thinks that he's gone to Pep and said, right, Edu's mugging me off. Right. Have a word with West Ham. Say you're interested, a little bit interested, just to try and get Edu to put his fingers out. I wouldn't be surprised if that genuinely happened, because we're ready to make the move. I agree with you though, Lawless, in terms of the 50 quid a month Klarna deal that we're trying to do with Rice. Just give the money up front. Like the issue for Arsenal is that we don't have enough players that we're looking to move on for a decent enough value for us to then throw out. You know, like there's the talk of Balogun moving on for like 35-40 million, which I think is still a little bit of a reach, if I'm honest. I think Arsenal fans are a little bit they're too bit oversensitive about him. So I think it's just going to, I don't know, we need to try and find some more. But my issue with the whole Rice thing, Partey looks like he's moving on. Xhaka looks like he's moving on. If we get Lavia, that's great. If we get Rice, that's great. We're improving in terms of position, man for man, but we're not improving the squad. And that's what I'm worried about. If you look at last season, exactly what happened with injuries, we weren't able to compete then again because we didn't have enough strength and depth. We're replacing our like for like for better than like for like, but we're not. You know, I'd rather we go out there and sign Rice and Havertz is coming in, and we don't lose anyone there. But as I said, we can't move anyone on to finance the deal right now. I just think it's all a bit crap, really. But that's the joy of being an Arsenal fan, isn't it?
You got to pay up.
It's really interesting. The ex, I assume your point. I've just spoke to, DM'd the ex West Ham employee, and I said, "Are these quotes right that people are sending through to me?" And he's like, "The ones I read out, it goes slightly misquoted by people. There are some Arsenal accounts who are blatantly like lying about what he said. That someone wrote a comment like, the Arsenal's new bid's coming in, and there's an expectation that it will be accepted. That isn't. I want to wait. I couldn't listen to it because I'm on here." But he said he's going to post it all out. But it's really interesting to know what way he goes. And I trust what the ex West Ham employee says. I think he's a very credible source, and his preference is Arsenal. I think that Arsenal. I don't even think Arsenal have done the wrong thing by starting off with low balling bids. West Ham are going to go and do exactly the same thing if they try and sign Paulinho. They're going to. No one goes in, generally speaking, at the highest level. They have to get it done now, though, because the fear is that City outbid you. And if City outbid you, it almost becomes irrelevant, all the groundwork you've done on Declan Rice, because the one thing Declan Rice isn't saying is it doesn't matter what happens, I only want Arsenal. But he's got a preference, and a preference isn't the same as having an outright demand to only join Arsenal. So it's very interesting times. This week is going to be amazing around this Declan Rice deal. And